Welcome to the Wilderness Whiskey Roundtable Podcast.
I'm Max.
And I'm Ty.
And we're trying this again.
This is round 3?
Round two.
Round two.
Formal round 2.
Mm-hmm.
Not including the couple trial runs that we did.
Yes.
But our first one was a epic failure.
Yes. We waited way too late to start our podcast and ended up being just dead fish.
Just dog tired.
Oh my God, it was terrible.
You guys would not have enjoyed that one,
No.
I don't think. So we X'd that one out, and here we are trying again.
And we're pumped. This time we are pumped up.
I'm feeling real good today.
Mm-hmm.
I think the energy's high. I think this one's going to be entertaining. So I definitely hope so. I hope you guys enjoy this. We're gonna drink a little bit of whiskey, have a couple beers, have a good time.
Apologize for the pre-noises all around you currently. It's just us mixing some drinkies for the
Couple of ice cubes in the whiskerooski.
Some things we're going to talk about on this thing. Let's just dive into it.
I guess we'll do a brief introduction.
Yeah. I'm Tyler from small town Janesville. I'm a butcher, got a young daughter, just turned 1, and honestly, I just like bullshitting and drinking, and Max and I do that pretty much every Wednesday anyways, and so we just kind of decided that, hey, let's put this pen to paper here and let other people listen to the stupid stuff we talk about.
Yeah. I'm Max. Me and my wife Danielle, we run a Instagram blog called Burley Outdoors. I also butcher. Me and Ty work at the same place. We're both from Janesville. We grew up, graduated together, kind of reconnected later in life. We were pretty good friends through high school, and ended up falling back into connection, and now here we are. So like he said, we love the outdoors. We love talking shit. We do this pretty much every Wednesday, so we figured we might as well put a camera and put a mic in front of us and talk to you guys about it.
Yeah. Cool story about us, I guess. We actually kind of fell off for 2-3 years.
Yeah, like right after we graduated, kind of went our separate ways. That's, I think, pretty common for most people after graduation, but
yeah, ended up just he actually started back up where I work, and I'm like, oh, what's up, dude? And we just kind of, the rest is history. We've just been hanging out.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. Just different path in life. I was pursuing a few other things and moved away for a while, and then me and my wife moved back to town, and somehow I got roped into helping you clowns up at the meat market for a little bit, and now I'm full-time up there again, and we're best friends again, and it's just funny how that all works out.
Some things I guess we're aiming at. That'd be a good next point to talk about.
Yeah, I think our little podcast mission, if you want to call it that.
Honestly, just bringing you guys some fun content about outdoor stuff.
Not even just outdoor stuff. I think just dude stuff, relevant dude stuff. We love outdoors, but
just guy stuff.
Yeah.
We're in the garage right now. We've had a lot of late nights out here before.
Yeah.
A few whiskeys under our belts, and just throwing something together.
Yep.
We built a door the one night, like just stupid stuff.
Yeah, it's half done outdoor furniture hanging in the background, and we fucking refurbed a boat in here, and I mean, God, there's a lot of stories in this garage here. So I think we're gonna do most of our recording in here. Hopefully, eventually on a round table, but we're making do with what we got right now. So
we have a giant ass rectangular table that I've been meaning to sell for about the last 4 years now. Inherited it from mom and dad, and It is the bulkiest table a person could probably buy for their dining room.
Yeah.
And now it's back in my garage. So if anybody's looking for a giant rectangular table, go ahead and just let
it's
me know.
wonderful. It's super sturdy. We've been putting this podcast off for too long to where we couldn't do it again, waiting on a round table. So we're going to do it on a rectangle.
So for today, it's the Wilderness Whiskey rectangle table.
Yep.
It's gonna do the same purpose though. We're gonna drink some drinks and have some fun.
Yeah, you just sit around a table and talk shop. Yep. So, I think we'll share, some of the shit that we're working on, some of the outdoor stories, some of the fishing, hunting stuff that we're doing. We'll talk about some whiskey. We'll talk about life. We'll talk about whatever, Yeah,
we want it to be, kind of just guys and girls, but just stuff that is more relatable to dudes, I guess.
Yep.
For the most part.
Yep.
But not necessarily completely in that.
No, and I think we'll have some female perspectives on here at some point, and it's not synonymous to just guys. I think it applies to a lot of people, but we're two dudes sitting around a table, so I think most of our audience is going to be probably guys.
Yeah,
which is fine.
We welcome everybody.
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
We're really good at just kind of ad-libbing.
Yeah, and like we said, this is shit that we do on a daily basis, so it's kind of fun to be able to talk about it, hopefully to some other people, and that's half the reason we're doing this.
Just got back from Red Lake.
We did. Yep.
2 weekends ago.
Yep. Funny story. We had intended to release the first podcast before leaving, and then we intended to do a podcast while we were up there, and it just didn't work out that way. So this is our first episode, and we'll talk about what we didn't talk about when we were going to record up there, I guess.
I'm still going to say I was roofied.
Yeah, it was an interesting trip, to say the least, for sure.
We had every intention of coming back to the fish house and doing the podcast. But then somebody started giving out some free old fashions, and
things went dark real fast. I mean, it was a flip of the switch. And
I had a 9 o'clock bedtime that
night. I don't know. We call it a floor time. I think it wasn't even
I didn't even make it to the bed. So it was a fun trip though.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was a good time. The fishing was tough.
Yeah, fishing was totally tough. Big shout out though to Ice Castle's owners.
Yeah, I think just context wise, the reason we went up there was there was an Ice Castle owners group, and Ty owns an Ice Castle, and he can kind of talk about how he got into the group and all of that stuff and how we ended up there.
Yeah, just kind of got into it for tips and advice on essentially everything miscellaneous Ice Castle and whatnot, and just troubleshooting stuff, and it's just a great community. They put this event on, and the proceeds go towards veterans.
It's up at Red Lake every year, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This coming year will be the 10th annual one, so it sounds like they're going to have some good stuff going on for that one.
Yeah, it was cool. I think you're under a decade worth of trial run up there, and I think they're putting on a really, really cool thing for the short period of time that they've been doing it. Sorry, we got a dog in between us here that's snorting like
that's my dog,
a piggy.
Callie. She's red-nosed pit, and she's very needy.
Say hi, Cal. She'll probably make an appearance in most of the podcasts, and that's cool. So
she just makes a lot of noise, so apologize.
Yeah.
Another thing, we're new to the podcasting game, so any hints, tips, pointers, anything you see or hear that you don't like, just let us know, because we'll try and clean it up and get it fixed for you.
Yeah, we're figuring it out as we go. It's going to be sloppy. It's going to be scrambling. I mean, we're probably going to bounce all over the place for the first few episodes, but we'll get it figured out. But yeah, the Red Lake trip, man, it was it was something. I mean, I've never been up there,
No.
and
Neither
I thought I could read a fishing map pretty good, a lake map pretty good, and that lake got the best of me up there.
Well, when everything is 15 feet deep, anywhere you go, at all times, makes things very difficult.
Yeah. So to put it in perspective, I mean, it's an extremely large lake, and it drops off to that 14, 15 foot relatively quick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted we were a ways off shoreline, but it didn't seem like we were going to see 10 feet ever. So we went out the first day. It was a Thursday through Sunday event. And we got up there Wednesday night, and we pushed out 4.5 miles the first night, and it was 14.9 for depth of water.
Mm-hmm.
And we caught a few fish overnight. It was a good time. You know, we got settled in. It was nice to be able to fish the first night after a long drive. And we moved into the event on Friday. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, because we got there on Wednesday. On Friday, and we were in the same depth of water.
Mm-hmm.
And we moved almost 2 miles.
And honestly, it was pretty much the same amount of action.
Mm-hmm. Maybe a little bit less just because of the traffic and the noise and everything close to the event. You know, we went out of JR's on the south side.
Big shout out to JR's. They do a really great job out there too.
Huge shout out again. Like this was our first time up there, and we were clueless when we got up there, and they were a big help. Kind of told us we were stupid for not wanting to fish the first night, so we said fuck it and we went out. And I'm glad we did.
Yeah. Well, we had called ahead of time on our way up there, and we had talked to somebody, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're coming up for the Ice Castles group. If you get up here after 10, just park at the back lot and camp." So we were just anticipating doing that, but we got up there and they were still open, and
it was funny. We were 5 minutes after 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know, we got a decent jump on the day, and after calling, we kind of knew we were going to be a little bit late in terms of after talking to them. So we were kind of just expecting to drop, Parker and back and call her a night and figure it out in the morning. But they decided to stay open until I think midnight that night.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy was like, "Yeah, I don't know why you guys were thinking you were just going to camp out back." He's like, "You might as well fish."
Mm-hmm.
It was a full moon weekend. He said overnight bite's probably going to be the best it's going to be over the full moon. So he said, "You might as well fish."
And as far as the best it's going to be, we had an anticipation up there of like murdering fish.
Yeah. For those of you who are familiar or who have seen videos and stuff like that, there's a lot of videos, blogs, stuff like that of people just smashing.
Mm-hmm.
Like talking 50, 70, 100 fish days.
We weren't there.
No.
We weren't close.
And you come to realize that that's specific times of the year, specific sides of the lake, stuff like that plays a big role into a featureless lake like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't quite like that. And now talking to more people who fish around this time of the year and with this much traffic, we probably did better than most people.
Yeah. So we went into the event a couple of the days there, and just in talking to some of the people who were like in the heart of it, it was like, yeah, we caught 2 fish last night. We stayed on kind of the outskirts just in hopes of catching a few more fish, and I think we did.
I think we did. Yeah. We knew coming into it that staying away from the crowds was going to be better.
Mm-hmm.
So even when we were going to push in towards the crowd, we intentionally kind of stayed on the outskirts, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that definitely helped. I can't imagine the people that were stacked on top of each other did much better.
In talking to somebody who actually went up last weekend off of a resort that was to the
southeast.
Yep.
Just I think one resort east of JR's.
And it sounds like they did the same.
Yeah.
They didn't do any better. So I don't know if it's just a north of the lake thing or if it's what it is really. Because like we said we're new to it, but
Yeah.
overall experience, I would say it was good.
Yeah, it was fun. Neither of us are huge walleye fishermen, really, to preface it. And Red Lake is notoriously good for walleyes. So we went up, with the expectation to catch a bunch of walleyes and have a good time at this event. And we caught a few. We caught a fair share. I don't think I can complain, really.
No. We ate a good, what was it, a 19-inch? 19 and 3/4?
18 and 3/4?
18 and 3/4.
Yeah. Yep.
That guy was awesome. That was your catch. That was a good catch.
Yep.
That was a ton of fun. Caught a goldeye.
Yeah, that was
super
funky
unique fish.
I don't know if we even have those down here, to be quite honest. That was my first ever experience with one of those.
I've never heard of it, never seen it, and I caught one out of the blue, and it hit like a walleye, and it swam like a walleye.
Yeah, and then it got to the hole, and it kind of looked like a crappie. And yeah, it was funky. We were doing some research on the way up, and we knew they were in the lake. After looking at GillNet reports, didn't really expect to catch one. I didn't even know that they were a sizable fish that you would catch.
No,
I think I kind of assumed that it was more of like a shad style, bait fish style fish.
It's kind of more like a rough fish.
Yes. Yep. I think structurally and feel wise, if you're familiar with whitefish, I think it would resemble a taller version of a whitefish, essentially. Which, doing our research after catching it, I think they're pretty good to smoke, kind of like a whitefish. But we released it. I mean, it was a good sized fish, and it wasn't anything that we necessarily knew what we were doing culinary wise. So it was something that it can just definitely go back.
We had our fun with it. Took some pictures with it, but it was a super fun fish to catch. Like I said, it battled like hell up that hole. I kind of freaked out because it was kind of dead sea for a while, and all of a sudden this huge mark came on the live scope there, attacked the shit out of me, and this thing hammered it and took off, and I'm like, fish out, fish out, fish out, and Max was like, what do you got? I'm like, I don't know. And
ran from the other side of the house. And I was hovering over the hole because I knew he had a decent fish on, and it was one of those, I assumed based on how it was fighting that it was a walleye, and then I saw the light glimmer, and it looked like a crappie.
You're like, I think it's a huge crappie, dude. I'm like,
and you hear these stories of these big Red Lake crappies.
Yeah.
So I mean, we were hoping we could find them, and I was pretty excited for a second because I thought we hooked into one, but nonetheless it was really cool. Rattle reels were probably the mainstay. I think we caught most of our fish on that. We caught a few on rod and reel, but most of our stuff was
rattle reel.
Yeah, set lines overnight.
And I think most of them were either really early morning or like sun up morning.
Yep. I think we had our couple random ones. Like, prime time wasn't really a thing up there, which was kind of surprising. The first night we got up there, it was late. We weren't fishing until 11 o'clock. We had some action overnight. But yeah, most of it, I think, was like 3:30 to 5:30 was kind of our block, which sucks.
Yeah. And then it was dead to the point where we were just kind of sitting around watching movies, which is fine.
Yeah, we pick off a few perch. I mean, the main day stuff was perch for the most part. We caught, 2 walleyes during the daytime, which, again, kind of disappointing. Whatever, it's just part of it. It's fishing.
Yeah, there's a reason they call it fishing and not catching. So
yeah,
overall experience, I would recommend it. And if you've got a nice castle, I would tune into this group. They give away a bunch of prizes. They had a band under the tent every night, full bar out there and everything. And it's a blast. There was probably easily 400 houses.
Oh, I bet 4 or 5, maybe even more than that.
Right. And
it was nuts. I mean, it took us 2.5 hours to get off the lake on Sunday.
On Sunday, yeah, that was
it was just a line of castles, and it was cool. I mean, they had that vendor fair on Saturday.
Yeah, that was cool. They were giving out.
Dude, you won.
I won one of the raffles. That was awesome. I got the phone call today.
Neither of us ever win shit.
No.
First off.
Especially not raffles.
Yeah.
So that was what, Forest Lake, right?
Yes. Yep.
They've got a little RV spot up there. I'll have to get the name of that place.
Yeah.
Give them a better shout out than this. I wasn't prepared.
Yeah.
I forgot about it.
But you won a couple rods.
Couple rods. Just threw in a $10 raffle.
Yep.
And won a couple of rods.
I guess not knowing what rods they are yet until we go get them, but $10, whoop-de freaking do. You know, even if they are shitty, you know, cheap rods, like you can't get 2 rods for $10.
No, exactly.
So, you know, cool.
Yeah. I've spent $10 on a lot worse things. So that was exciting. I got that phone call today, actually. So about almost 2 weeks after.
Yep.
They said they drew my name. So that was super exciting. Guy was super nice on the phone and thanked us for coming and supporting. And they actually are gave away like 5,000 to one charity, another 3,000 to another charity, and then another, I believe, 3,000 to a third charity. So, and
the big fact that they're mainly veteran based and all of that, it's just so cool. It's such a good cause, and you don't mind throwing a little bit of money into a hat for that.
No, that's worst case scenario. It's getting donated somewhere.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the other vendors were so cool. You know, between just accessories for your castle that you would never even think of that existed, to Ice Castle bringing a couple of folks up that had really, really cool, unique castles.
Yeah, we spent a pretty solid part of an hour, if not more, inside of a guy's house. It was a 22-foot house with a rear slide, and it was the only one of its kind.
First one that had 2 slides ever.
Yeah,
I think is what he said.
Yeah,
and boy,
you know, the rear.
22 feet. It's still a big castle, but when you put 2 slides on that thing, holy smokes, I could live in that. Yeah.
And actually, so what surprised me most about it is he was pulling it with a half-ton Trail Boss, so it has a little better suspension on it. Because I asked him,
no bags,
but
with a half-ton pickup.
He's pulling a 22-footer with 2 slides, and that to me was so impressive because I want to upgrade my house anyways, and I don't want to upgrade my truck.
Because you have what now? You have is 17?
17 foot with the 4-foot beam.
Yeah.
Yep. And
so I mean, it's a spacious house. I mean, it was plenty fine for the 2 of us for sure.
But if you start adding 3, or if you wanted to sleep 4 people in there, you better pack a tent with you just to keep your shit.
Yeah, or have 3 vehicles up there just to store shit. You know, because the amount of shit that we packed, it was tight. You know, we were jumping over stuff.
Some of it was probably a little overkill, but
and we didn't know what we were getting into, and we had all our camera gear and our podcast stuff with the intention of filming up there and all that.
And so we didn't do it. We didn't do it. None of it.
So this one's going up. I don't care how it turns out. I don't care either. But we got to do it. So, but yeah, you know, I don't know. We probably caught 30, 40 fish up there. It was fun. We had a good time. We made it up to the band both nights, even if one of them was kind of short. Yeah. But yeah, it was an absolute blast.
I would recommend it.
Yes, 100%.
I would recommend if you don't have a house, rent one. JR's got rentals.
God, I was blown away with the amount of stuff they had back there.
Yeah.
They have, I mean, every which size. I think you could freaking sleep 12 if you wanted to. They have a house for it.
Yep.
And they're awesome people. It was a great time, and I can't help but think that they run that kind of business year-round up there. So even if it's not for the castle owner group, it's a good operation.
Yep.
They were plowing.
Bar food? The food in the bar at JR's, holy crap. We got that jalapeno
ham. It was like a 3 meat plus a jalapeno. Yeah.
Holy shit.
We just took it to go. We went in there. We had a drink. We didn't even realize they sold food until we saw somebody else ordering a pizza.
Yeah.
And we're like, damn, let's grab one of those. Let's go back out for the night bite.
We need that.
We need food. Yeah. And they plowed nonstop up there.
Yeah.
They picked up 2-3 new roads, even over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think they were out to 4.5, 5 miles when we got there. They were out to almost 9
Yeah.
when we left. So they picked up 2 new roads. They were, I mean, we watched them plow nonstop.
And the people on 9 were the people catching all the
Smashed
fish.
them. Yeah. So we ran into a group. That was Saturday. No,
Yep.
Saturday.
Yeah, up at that brewery castle there.
Yep. And they said they had a 70 fish day.
Yeah.
They were a little hesitant to tell us that because they were, twisting the knife in our back at that point.
Yeah.
But they smashed them out there. So it's just proof that you need to get away from
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New roads, unfished area. I think at this point in the year it's a must.
Well, and as everybody who lives in Minnesota and is passionate about ice fishing knows, it's been a shit year.
Yep.
For ice fishing. We got out last night.
Yep.
Still was able to pull the track sled out, but that is fleeting very quickly.
Yeah. The landing wasn't great.
Mm-hmm.
We ramped off the trailer probably 3-4 feet onto solid ice, but just to the right of us wasn't great. So you definitely have to pick where you access from, and I encourage you to be considerate about that. Don't just blast through stuff. We all want to keep fishing, so let's maintain the shorelines. Let's be smart about it. But there was a good 10 inches still out there.
Mm-hmm.
The water temp is high.
After today's winds in southern Minnesota, anyways, though, I'm thinking our days are fleeting.
We might have lost a couple inches between water temp underneath and wind on top, and a little bit of rain. It was warmer than freezing. I mean,
we gauged. What did your temp gauge say? 36 degrees.
36 water. Yeah. So we're losing water losing ice from both sides right now, which stinks. It just eats away at it a little bit quicker.
And some people are happy about it. Some people like the warmer weather, which so be it. But I'll give you a month. Because come March, it's just going to be muddy for
and it's going to be
2
or
3 months.
Now, mind you, we love every bit of every season that we get, but when our seasons run shorter than we intend them to be, it's sad.
Yeah, I'm a big winter guy. I love the extreme cold. I love the winter snow, the ice. Being out there. It kind of revitalizes me. And then summer, I don't mind the extreme heat. You get out on a boat, you're fishing, swimming, and so on and so forth.
Well, I think that's part of Minnesota.
Right.
We've embraced the 4 seasons.
And the extremes of
them. Yep, 100%.
And I'm more on the extreme side of them. Like, I know a lot of people like the in-between more than anything else. I'm kind of opposite to that, where I'm like, no, give me the worst.
Yep.
And I don't know why.
Well,
that's just how I'm built.
I've had some of my best outdoors experiences in those extremes.
Mm-hmm.
Vividly remember negative degrees smashing crappies on the ice.
Yes.
I remember 108-degree days, bass blowing up on frogs in the middle of the summer, hot as hell. Nobody else is out there because it's miserable.
Yep.
But it's awesome. Smashing ducks in snowstorms, turkeys in rain, like all of those like extreme conditions seem to be what feed some of our best experiences from outdoorsmen.
Well, and I'm the type of guy too who doesn't mind driving in a blizzard or driving in heavy rain, like stuff like that.
Yep.
Like if I'm already out on the roads and stuff, I'm not going to make it a point to do it.
No.
But like the one year my wife and I, we drove back from Chicago in that snowstorm where we got 18 inches all at once.
Yep.
And so I was on Highway 14 for 2.5 hours.
Yep.
The most, in our area anyways, that road sucks ass as soon as snow starts blowing and you start getting those conditions. And I kind of liked it. I was like, I'm loving this.
Yep.
This is great. It's a little more exciting. I don't know. And
and with a degree of patience-ness and, self-control, it's manageable. It's not,
And I was in at the time, I think I had a G6.
Yeah.
You know, so I didn't flinch at it. So
Yep,
I'm
yep.
definitely a Minnesota boy. Definitely love my seasons, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah.
I don't like sunny weather every day.
No, it's weird. It's stagnant. It's boring. I mean, you know, there's stuff that can be beneficial from it for sure, but
Yeah.
it's just one of those things that I like variety.
There's something about those rainy days where you finally have an excuse to, like, if I don't want to do anything, I don't have to,
Yep.
and not feel guilty about it.
Yep.
Whereas when it's like sunny and nice, you're like, God,
Oh, I should walk my dog,
God damn it, I should go rake the yard.
Yeah. I should mow the lawn.
Yeah. The wife's been on my ass to fix the soffit.
Yep. Yeah, no, and I think that's the cool part about what we do too is, you know, we can kind of embrace all of that stuff. We stay pretty active through all 4 seasons doing something outdoors, which is fun. But like I said, when a season's cut short or when it's stagnant because of weather
Yeah.
sucks. Like our waterfowl season, the back end of it sucked.
Yep.
The weather sucked. Our ice season,
Sucked.
it's been fine. We've done okay, but it's short lived.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what it traditionally should be.
I mean, in February we should be honestly sitting on the lake doing this podcast.
100%
in the ice
with
castle.
20 plus inches.
Right. And
you know,
and we don't even have enough hardly to pull a 4-wheeler out there.
No,
So
I
lakes
like
around us.
the track sled's a blessing right now because I wouldn't put a traditional machine on that ice. We didn't even get the castle out down here.
No,
and not a lot of people did. I mean, there was a stretch, but you were taking it off as fast as you put it on.
Yeah,
it just didn't stick.
It heated up so fast.
Yeah, and when you start to lose your shorelines like that, pulling a big castle off the lake, it's not good. And people were smart, man. I got to give credit to how people handled this year, because there hasn't been a ton of disasters as this is like people. I've seen too many people leave a house out there way longer than they should.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
and people were smart this year. You know,
last year it was kind of funny because there was a tandem axle off of the one axis that had sat in the same spot for the entirety of the year.
I'm not even sure if that guy was out there more than a couple times. It's like he put it there and he just didn't want it in his yard anymore. Like, get it out of my driveway.
I'm paying for it now. But he stayed out there till the 60-degree days.
Yeah. We were coming up quick on the pull-off date, and I to be honest, I don't know how he got it off.
No, because we got warm fast last year too, and
if you're listening, you know who you are.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
You just got ginormous,
just a freaking scrote that I wish I had.
Those things are steel mounted.
Walking around with a wheelbarrow, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Like,
we're missing out on some stuff this year though because of the warm weather.
Yeah.
The landing in Madison Lake there put on a big tent with the band GTX in it last year.
Yep.
On the ice, and then there was a bunch of campers out on the south end of the lake. Yep. And they actually had to cancel it, and they're moving it up onto land in their parking lot.
Which it'll be a good time regardless, but it's just not the same.
Yep. And that's not this coming weekend; it's the following weekend. But
we lost a lot of tournaments.
Ton of tournaments.
I didn't see a single ice race.
Yeah.
You know, like some of the stuff that you traditionally see in the winter, it just didn't happen this year. That being said, I'm gonna plug Fish Donkey right now because when these
get something on.
When these local contests can't happen, there's a new app called Fish Donkey, relatively new, and they run tournaments all throughout the ice belt and open water season, whatever, that aren't local. So even though you can still get on the ice and maybe it's not safe enough to put a bunch of people on there, they still allow you to electronically record and fish tournaments. Now that being said, I'm getting my fucking ass kicked. So the bad thing with that is it opens the door up for everybody, and I don't think we have the fish to compete with some of these places. I'm in a crappie tournament, and there's dudes pulling 16-16 and a 15 3/4 for his 3-fish bag, and we don't have the fish to do that. But that being said, it's really cool to actually be able to still fish tournaments, even though you can't have local tournaments. So that's really, really neat. I encourage you guys to check them out. Ty's grabbing another beer, so I don't have my wingman right now.
I'm coming.
It's cool. I'm really, really trying to climb that ladder, and it's just some people are slaying right now. It's nuts. I can't believe some of the fish that are getting caught on that app. It's crazy. But the cool thing is too is they're doing other like sub contests within it, where it's like first to match a certain size fish, or first to fill a 3-fish panfish variety, or just fun stuff like that. So there's a ton of cool stuff on there, and I encourage you guys to check it out, especially if your area is not doing local tournaments like ours isn't right now. Whether that be due to ice conditions or you don't have somebody who could put that tournament on. So kind of neat.
It'd be kind of fun to figure out a way to make our own tournament.
Dude, you can make them on there.
Can you really?
That's the cool part. You can do public and private tournaments. You don't have to do anything special. Some of the big tournaments obviously have endorsements and ambassadors behind it that are funding it and everything like that. But there's plenty of locked tournaments as I scroll through there.
Yep.
That are local to people's work groups or people's friends groups or stuff like that. And I think that would be awesome. It's a platform that you can do all of those things on, even if you want to just have a good time with your buddies.
You could almost do like how could you integrate like a fantasy league for fishing?
You would almost have to do a draft style of some sort. I don't know if you could do that within the Fish Donkey app or not, but it'd be fun.
What's that channel you're always watching there?
My Outdoor TV.
Okay.
And the MLF, Major League Fishing, they do a pretty cool 3-man team league thing that they do. They do a draft style. It's a blast. I love watching Bassmaster. I love watching single tournament. I get invested in that shit. But that 3-man tournament thing is pretty sweet. It's different. You get open line communication with your team, and that'd be cool on ice. I mean, nobody does something like that. I don't know. I mean, obviously we're limited to the ice belt region, but that'd be sweet.
It would be cool to run like a more professional.
Yeah, there's not much for professional ice fishing style stuff.
Let's just put it on.
We could do something.
You and me.
We might as well do it.
We'll put it together and we'll just get some of these big guys to come in and.
There is that one. God, what is his name that runs that? Sponsored by Clam. But he travels around and hosts some big time. I would consider it professional panfish leagues. I think it's the UPL.
It'd be kind of cool to watch or like put something on to where you
had Ultimate Panfish League.
Do like a 2-day event on a weekend.
Yeah.
And then kind of do something similar to like the Ice Castles thing where you bring everybody out on the lake. They can kind of see what's going on. These guys go out and fish.
Yep.
And then at night,
it's a big party. Yeah.
You party.
Yeah.
And hang out and meet people.
The camaraderie behind it. And I think that's something that's definitely missing in some of the open water stuff is, the tournaments and all that stuff are so intensive that there's a lack of camaraderie in it, which, I mean, I'm sure all the dudes get along.
Yeah.
There's probably not a ton of animosity by any means, but, the fact that at the end of the day, you can fish hard and try to beat somebody, but then you can sit down and you can have a beer next to them and have a good time and share some laughs. It's just cool.
Which is kind of what you and I kind of comprise all of our outdoor activities around. Is like we take it serious enough to where we're really pushing and trying to get the best overall outcome.
Yep.
But at the same time, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, so we didn't catch as many fish as we wanted to, or we didn't shoot as many ducks as we wanted to. But at the end of the day, you're like, but we spent 8 hours outside.
Yep.
We had fun.
It's quality time spent doing what you love.
Yeah.
Yes, you take it serious. Yes, you want to be successful. Yes, you want to feed your family. Whatever it is. But at the end of the day, there's that appreciation for the outdoors, for the animal that you're chasing, for whatever. And that, I think that's why this works for us too.
Yep.
We're like-minded. We appreciate the same things.
It doesn't come down to life or death either. We're not talking. We're not scrambling to get food for our family.
Yeah.
So it's a hobby that is a passion.
Yes, and we use it to supplement.
Yep.
And that's the bottom line.
Yep.
We're not keeping every fish we catch, but we're not solely dependent on keeping fish. It's one of those things where you appreciate the act, you take advantage of the things that you can take advantage of, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You figure it out.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to be stressed in life. This podcast is a big proponent of that. Like, blow off some steam, talk about some shit,
Yep.
When you start taking yourself too seriously, you end up you're miserable.
Yeah, it's just not that serious.
No,
and there's definitely stuff to take serious, and there's definitely stuff that's urgent and that matters, but a lot of this stuff just isn't it.
Well, when you have a hobby, it's supposed to be a hobby to make you feel better.
Yeah. It's a way to blow off steam. Yep. It's a way to create enjoyment. It's a way to have fun with friends. It's one of those things that you can't make more of it than what it is.
Otherwise, it becomes a job. And if you're already going to work 5 days a week, then you got a hobby that you turn into a job.
Or some of these guys that work 2-3 jobs and then they turn their hobby into a job on top of it, and it's a recipe for disaster. You're gonna be miserable. You gotta keep that mentality of appreciating what you can do in your free time, finding what you enjoy, whether that be outdoors, woodworking, reading, whatever it is. Life's serious, but it ain't that serious.
No, and you got to make of it what you can.
Yeah, 100%. So I mean, we're gonna do this little roundtable discussion thing. I think every podcast where we talk about what's going on, we go on our little tangents and that type of stuff, and we hope it resonates. We hope it's relatable.
We want to create some, sort of wholesome content that people can relate to, and also create kind of a fun environment for whomever. And honest to God, I'm willing to sit down and talk to just about anybody.
About anything. Yeah, 100%.
Because if I can have you sitting across the table from me, we drink some drinks and we just have a good time and we get different perspectives on things, that's what I'm looking for.
Yep. And I think that's something we're striving for with this podcast, is that, eventually we'll have people, whether it be local or whether it be through Zoom or whatever, but we're hoping that we can kind of branch out to some other people, get some other perspectives on stuff, and provide you guys with that little insight too of some other opinions, other perspectives, other topics, interests, things that people relate to, whatever it may be.
Yeah, this whole podcast is just gonna kind of be, probably for the first few episodes, a little bit of a shit show.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is fine. Bear with us. Let us know what you want to talk about or what you want us to talk about, because We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I think a Q&A would be cool. You know, if
Yeah.
you threw some feedback at us so
Yeah.
we could talk about it, awesome.
I
You
wouldn't
know?
even be opposed to like throwing up some phone calls.
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, you get a couple people who have a strong opinion and call them in and
Yep.
let's talk about it, you know?
And we want to talk about gear a little bit. You know, we'll talk about whiskeys. Oh, that is a segment we're going to start doing too.
Can't be the Wilderness Whiskey Roundtable without a little bit of
whiskey.
whiskey. Yep.
Might as well get into it with what we're drinking right now.
Yep. Yeah, we can talk about it.
We're drinking Paddleford Creek. It's a bourbon whiskey, double distilled.
91 proof. I personally have never heard of this.
No, I hadn't either. Big shout out to Scott at Total Wine. He actually was the one that recommended this to me. I tend to stick to the $25 to $35 bottle range.
Yep.
He actually hooked me up with this Paddleford, and he hooked me up with a bottle of Woodford, which is one of my favorites, but it was a special Woodford that we'll talk about next week or something. But
yeah, I think we'll do a special bottle every week, and we'll talk about what we think of it, what the tasting notes are, what we pick up. I mean, I'm not a bourbon snob. I like bourbon, but
yeah, I like drinking it, and it's kind of fun to just acknowledge the different kind of flavor profiles and stuff.
Yeah. It's another thing that you can learn to appreciate. I know bourbon collecting, bourbon tasting, all that stuff is kind of growing in popularity right now. And yeah, I would imagine most people have, if you have a liquor cabinet, you got a bottle of bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether or not you can pick up on the flavors or whether or not you can fully appreciate what the bottle is. You know, I'm definitely not there. I can pick up on some stuff and I know what I like.
Yep.
But it's something that I'm kind of hoping we grow with too in the podcast is, you know, tasting notes, smelling notes, stuff like that. And you know, maybe finding some stuff that we never would have tried that we really, really like, or developing a taste for something that, you know, maybe wouldn't have been our first pick normally.
I'd say, especially because it's our first podcast, comment on it. Let us know what your favorite one is. I'd love to get other people's perspectives and kind of start reviewing.
Well, yeah, expanding on what we drink and what we try.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'll probably do a short little tasting note.
Yeah.
We'll hopefully figure out what we're tasting and smelling, and maybe look up what it is and see how far off we are.
What's your favorite bottle of whiskey?
Yeah. Me, I'm a big Woodford guy too. Okay. I like the double oaked.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really, really underrated for its price point. I think it's delicious. I'm not a spicy or a high rye guy. So that kind of falls right in the realm for me. I do like my fruity stuff though too. Mm-hmm. So that's where I'm kind of torn. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, the sweeter stuff is a little bit more pleasant to drink in my personal opinion. Mm-hmm. But you know, the smoky double oaked unique stuff is cool. I can definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, I my personal one is my go-to bottle for whatever I'm doing with it is Old Forester 86.
Yep.
It's just a smooth bottle of whiskey. It's got enough sweetness for it, and if you're making an old fashioned, that's my go-to old fashioned bottle. As well as like, you don't feel guilty about mixing in some ginger ale.
No. Once in a while. And I think that's important too. Is like, again, not snobs.
No,
I'll mix a Diet Coke into a bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's certain bottles that I won't.
Right.
But it's cool, you know. Whatever. Whether you like drinking it with a mixie, whether you like drinking it on the rocks, whether you like drinking it neat, whatever, you know. And we'll probably do some of all of that.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I can't imagine that there's not going to be a bottle that we taste and we're just like, let's crack a crack a Diet Coke here.
Yep. This paddleford initially, I actually tried it at Total Wine, and oh boy,
What's up?
we've got a visitor.
We got a guest.
Our first guest on the podcast.
Say what's up,
coming out of the
Talon.
blue.
What's up?
There he is. He's in the distance. My younger brother, Talon. He's coming into the garage here. We got all sorts of things going on all the time. My youngest brother actually just moved in with me for right now. He's in between houses.
Yeah.
He was in a rental property and they sold the property, so he's in between houses, and him and his girlfriend are crashing here, which is totally fine.
What's up, buddy? Say hi
How's
to the
it going?
camera.
So, yeah, you gotta wave to the camera.
I'm a little bit.
You want a glass of whiskey?
No, I'm good.
All right.
I just got my car out of the gym, so I'm good.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
We didn't.
No.
Yeah, that was an hour and a half.
That's
1,200
good.
calories burned.
Heck yeah.
That boy's getting there.
Getting it. Oh.
You want?
That's kind of the general synopsis of this podcast, though. We're not aiming too hard at anything.
No. Yeah. And God, I mean, not quite in the fitness industry, but it falls for some people. So maybe we'll talk about some stuff too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Whatever.
yeah, it is what it is.
We could have honestly named this the Whatever Podcast.
Yeah. Yep.
I know it's broad. I guess the biggest thing I can ask is just bear with us, and like I said, give us feedback. We love feedback.
Yeah. I'm definitely feeling a little pressure right now.
Yeah, now we've got an audience all of a sudden. It's our first listener.
From 0 to 1.
Yeah, from 0 to 1. You know what? Honestly, what I've learned over these last couple months that we kind of decided to do this, though, is there is a little bit of pressure. Like,
There's
you
a ton of
feel-
pressure.
It's kind of weird learning to talk into a mic and just talk about things, even though we normally would do this.
Yeah, it's just uncomfortable when you put something in front of you, whether it be a camera or whether it be a microphone or whatever. Something that's so comfortable naturally becomes pretty uncomfortable pretty fast.
Yep.
And it's something that I think you got to swallow the pill.
Yeah, just do it.
Yep.
And that's what we're going to do. If you don't like it, nobody's forcing you to listen. If you like it, let us know, because it'll help. And
Yeah.
I don't even know if there's a subscribe button, but click it if there is.
There'll be a subscribe button
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
There's a subscribe button.
All about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talon says follow us.
Follow us.
So if it means anything, our first listener says he recommends you following us.
Yeah.
What are you guys all on? Like for me?
I think we're going to put it in a little bit of everything.
Yep. We'll have audio on pretty much all the major podcast platforms.
Mhm.
We're hoping we'll have video right up on YouTube.
Mhm.
And then, like I said, we run a Burley Outdoors Instagram, and
Check it out. It's fun.
check it out. Yeah, it's got pretty much everything. We rotate through seasons. Like I said, we ice fish, we turkey hunt, we open water fish, we waterfowl hunt. And that covers the 4 of them. So we should have plenty of content up on there. Facebook, Instagram, blog posts, the whole 9 yards. So
And I'm fairly new to the hunting side of things.
Yep.
Actually.
Yep.
I'm looking to get into it. My great grandpa did everything, and he actually passed before he could pass it on to me. And my dad didn't really do any of that stuff, and so I kind of really stuck to ice fishing. That's kind of my forte, if you will.
Yep.
And the year we've had, it's like, whoa.
Yeah, you're going to be forced to expand upon that, I think,
Yeah,
buddy.
oh, you have to.
Yeah.
'cause we've got
Just to
4
keep
seasons.
sanity. Yeah.
Exactly. It's my therapy, though.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, sitting out on the ice, I don't care if I catch a fish. If I'm out there and I'm sitting there, I am, and I think there's a lot of people that can relate to this. there's not a thought in my mind. I just sit there and I'm jigging and I'm just having a good time.
Yep. And I think that goes, and I think that's where you're going to enjoy some of this other stuff that we're going to tip into this year. That's what it is year round. I mean, when you embody the outdoors and appreciate everything that it is, it's that fulfilling feeling every season, every time you're out.
Yep.
So I think, I encourage you to get out with us, do some turkey hunting.
Yep.
We're going to do plenty of open water fishing for sure. We already know that. And then, come waterfowl. That's me and Danny's big season. That's where we live.
If you want to talk about some waterfowl addicts, him and his wife are. It's actually partially an addiction at this point.
Yeah, if there's anything close to being addicts, I think we fall right in that category.
I went and picked up decoys. How many decoys did I pick up?
Oh, we had an early season spread on a traffic field that I had almost, I bet it was 12, 15 dozen full bodies out there. And that's new to you. I mean, that's not foreign to people who understand waterfowl, but it's a lot. Don't get me wrong.
We went and picked that up, and it was cold that night. We had a really cold fall this year.
Yeah, it like I said, it was strange. Early fall we had perfect weather. I mean, we smashed birds early season, and we had that spread out in an alfalfa field just outside of town. And we ran that all early season, shot quite a few birds out of there. And Ty was nice enough to bring the golf cart out and help us out picking that up. But that was kind of your first experience with what I would consider a big early season spread for sure.
We took a trip earlier this year, and you bought a bunch of decoys off a guy.
Yeah, we again, being the little addicts that we are, I'm always looking to expand. I personally don't know if you can have enough. I think there's a scenario where you can always use more. And
me not being in the field, I'm like, holy shit, dude. You've got too many.
Yeah. And I'm running out of space to put it, so that doesn't help. But yeah, we went a little over an hour to go pick up a mess of decoys and didn't have the right hitch to put the trailer on, and we just packed Bigfoots in the bed of the truck.
Yeah, that thing was so cool. We had to ratchet strap a tarp over top of it.
I can't believe we didn't lose anything on the way back. But
we came close a couple of times, but it was hilarious. It was just like, all right, here we go. Let's go figure this out.
Yep. And I think that's the cool thing too. If you're just putting stuff together, I mean, I'm a normal dude. I can't always afford to buy new stuff. So Facebook Marketplace is one of my best friends when it comes to some of these hobbies. And you can find pretty good deals sometimes. And we found a pretty good trade. And we went out, we picked up, 6-7 dozen decoys probably, and packed them all in the bed of your truck and in the back of the cab. So
it's super nice people that we bought them from.
Awesome people.
I brought my daughter with us at the time, and
yeah, she took up a little bit of room. We could definitely use the room, but it's fine.
For some reason, she didn't want to be strapped to the roof.
Yeah, and didn't want a dozen decoys over top of her. Yeah, it's whatever. It's fine. We could have took more decoys back, but we just didn't have the room for it.
Oh no, it's this has been a fun experience so far. Just figuring out what we want to do, figure out what we want to talk about, and now hopefully just figuring out what our viewers want.
Yep.
Honestly, if you want to be on a podcast and you got some content or you got some experience out in the field or whatever it is, let us know. Because, I mean, between the two of us, we've got what? 20,
30 years worth of experience.
Just outdoor stuff. I've been camping outdoors since I was 10 years old.
Yep.
So like that's certain things too that I want to cover is just like some good camping hacks.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about everything outdoors. Yeah. It's just right up our alley.
camping, fishing, waterfowl, all of it. So if you're interested in any of that, let us know. Follow the cast, and we're just gonna keep amping it up. This is our first podcast that we're posting.
It's going up.
It's going up.
We're posting it.
We're hoping to just bring some more excitement to it, and hopefully keep some people interested.
Yeah. And like I said, the upcoming episodes, we'll talk about life stuff. We'll talk about whatever current events are going on. We hope to have some more feedback or people involved that we will have stuff to talk about. And we appreciate it.
Bottle pop sound.
Bottle pop.
We'd like us some whiskey.
Yep.
We could pretty much have just called this Whiskey Wednesday podcast because, boy, we are hammering on this bottle.
Yep. Yeah, it might hurt by the end of the night.
Yeah. Thursdays are never fun for us.
No. And it always happens in the middle of the week, which, whatever day it falls on, fine.
Yep.
Whatever day you have your free day. Wednesdays tend to be kind of ours.
Put us on in the car. Put us on in the gym. Put us on wherever you want to put us on.
And I think we'll plan on recording most Wednesdays and try to have it up on Fridays.
Thursday, Friday.
Yeah. I think Friday will be the goal. That way, if you got a free weekend or whatever, kick your feet up, work in the shop, go fishing, grab a drink, whatever.
Whatever it is, we just want you listening. And like I said, I'll say it for like the fifth time. Give us some ideas.
Yep. I think we can talk our ass off, but we want to make it relevant too. So if you guys have thoughts, ideas, things that we should do, things we should talk about, please. Like we said, this is our first time and we're figuring it out, and we want it to be as entertaining and as enjoyable as possible. Track sled.
We never talked about it.
We didn't. Yeah, I think we were on the back end of the episode, but let's talk about it. I mean, we bought a track sled, and if you guys don't know what a track sled is, it's basically the bottom half of a snowmobile with a frame and a little engine on it, and a couple gears and a couple chains.
It is the most fun, like, all-around tool that we own, especially for ice fishing. We just took it out on the lake. That the landing was not great.
You couldn't have got anything else out there.
No, you're not taking a four-wheeler over the track sled. It distributes the weight so nicely.
And it's
sleds
a few $100 pounds. I mean, it might be 250.
Yeah.
And you can get it out on 6 inches. I would say. I think I'd feel comfortable putting it on 5-6 inches.
I think
if it's supporting my weight, I'm all game for it.
Yep. And we took it out on Red Lake, and there was a couple times where the fish was slow. So Max was sitting on the couch, and I wasn't marking nothing. He wasn't marking nothing, and so I just went outside and I cranked her over, and I just started revving it. I just kept revving until he came outside.
Let's go for a ride.
Yep. And we ended up just ripping around for like a solid half an hour.
So if you guys don't know, basically you chain sleds behind it, and you can chain. God, I bet you could put 5-6 sleds behind it. So you got one that you either stand or sit on and steer, and then you either put gear or people or whatever, and you can pull all that shit behind you.
Yep.
But we're here ripping around, just the two of us on a wide open lake.
Yep.
With plowed heaves, and it was just a blast.
We were jumping stuff, and
it was so fun, and it's such a tangible tool for the weight that it is.
It's a tool and a toy.
100%.
The best of the both.
100%. And we had a blast with it, but also it cut our workload in fractions. I mean, it had to be a tenth. You know, there's no way we could have walked to those places
No.
that we went to. And if you
Oh,
did
we-
walk, it's taking hours. You're sweating.
Yeah.
Then you're cold by the end of it, and it's just more work than it's worth. And that's where these machines come into play.
Mhm.
And when you can cut down your weight by at least 50%, it's unamounting the benefits behind
Yep.
it.
Ours was actually homemade by a guy here in town who did a really great job of it. And he had looked it up and seen that some of the people that he was following or whatever were doing them, and he was like, "Oh, I could make that."
Yeah, he had a metal fab shop in his garage. Obviously, the skill set to do the welds and the cuts and all that stuff. But you know, like if you got a junk sled and the skill set to do it, oh my god, it's
so worth it.
yeah.
It's worth it times 10. Well, I'm thinking maybe we wrap her up here.
I think so. I think that was good. What are we at? We're a little over an hour.
A little over an hour.
That's pretty much perfect. So yeah, just again, we appreciate it. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Any feedback would be wonderful. And we'll do it again next week.
Yeah. Stay with us. It's only going to get better from here. This is the first one. So if you give us a couple chances, I guess, if you listen to it and you're like, the audio is terrible. Well, don't just leave us hanging. Let us know that. We're going to fix it.
Yep.
We're going to upgrade our equipment if we need to, whatever it takes.
Yeah. And we're figuring out platforms. We're figuring out editing software. We're figuring out equipment. It's all a learning curve, and we have to get one up, and we appreciate you just entertaining the fact that we're doing this.
Yep.
But if there's something we can improve on, by all means, let us know.
I guess at the end of this, just say thanks for listening. And,
Yeah.
Tight lines for right now.
Yep.
If you're
For
out
the
ice
time
fishing.
being.
And cheers.
Cheers. Yeah.
You know, hang in there, and we'll talk to you guys soon next week. So have a great week, and
thank you guys. We appreciate it.
yeah, thank you. All right, we are out of here.
Adios.
Peace.